It looks like the Buffs might have got some swagger back last night. Caden Salter was an absolute treat to watch. We're going to talk about him, Jordan Seaton update with his ankle injury, and some things that are still concerning, some issues on the defense side of the ball. Didn't expect me to say that, did you? I know, me either. Let's roll. Let's get into it, baby. Come on. I flushed my kids down in the club. Buffs handle their business. Like I said, Kaden Salter, 18 for 28, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think you rushed for 86 yards. They had a total rushing of 193, if I'm not mistaken. The offense did. The offense was clicking on all cylinders. In a weird way, this game, their identity, if you will, which we talked about earlier on in the week, resembled last year a lot, where it had some pop to the offense, it had some swagger, it had some flow. It felt like they could do whatever they wanted at will offensively. Defense had some moments, but at the end, things started to slip away a little bit. They didn't close like I believe they would wanted to. Even Coach Prime spoke to that. Started struggling with wrapping up, finishing tackles, finishing drives, closing some things out. Got lackadaisical with it, if you will. Very similar to the team last year. They kind of would just go out there, big hot toddy, do the things, and then fall off in certain areas and not close and just have a clean, perfect game. But not concerned. Look, you want to be frustrated because you want to see some just a lot of the same things happening from week to week. But offensively, I had major concerns. Defensively, we've seen a lot of great things, in my opinion, over the first couple of weeks. This may have just been a small little change. Again, struggle with run defense, which has been a constant issue, I would say, this entire season. There's been holes that have been exposed throughout every game defensively. Hopefully Coach Livingston can figure that out. Feels like Schumer has found some rhythm in Kaden Salter. Kaden Salter looked like the quarterback from Liberty, the quarterback that I thought that he would be when he arrived to Colorado, why I was so high on Salter and why I was so pumped for Colorado and having a good year and a rebound year, if you will, from all the departures they had because of Caden Salter's ability to do great things with the ball in his hands. And I said it before the show, love that he was starting. Why do we love that he was starting? Because Wyoming ranked, I think, 120th in rush defense. And I said, just let Kaden Salter get out and bust it wide open with his legs. And bust it wide open with his legs. He did. His mobility in the pocket is hard for any defense, for anybody to control. And I really feel like they would have much more success with that Houston team if they would have brought him in and let him do his thing. It is what it is. Kudos to him as well. He's been a true leader this whole time, in my opinion, on how he's managed this whole situation. Coming into Colorado, obviously it's a big-time moment, big-time arena that you've got to handle all these stars and lights. You got Julian Lewis with a lot of expectation. A lot of people are wanting him to play, see what he can do. He gets brought to the Big 12 Media Day, and he handles that with grace, and then loses his starting job, essentially, after 1.5 games. Right after you've been the guy all offseason, because Ryan Staub came in and looked good for half a game, and didn't falter, didn't slouch with your head down, sat there, took your lickings, got a little humble pie, and then bounced back and have this kind of game again. I know it's Wyoming, but it's good to have that. You want to, because he didn't look like this against Delaware, right? This rhythm, this swagger wasn't there for Delaware. So him to find it in this game, I think is going to be huge for this offense. And again, it finally had a little bit of a nice balance from running the ball and throwing the ball as well. Jordan Seaton did go down with an ankle injury where he returned back to the sideline and streetwear. Coach Prime spoke about said he's cool on top of the other injuries that occurred, which were, who were they? I think it was Taylor was one of them, and Taylor and Price, Simone Price, were both went down, and Zy Chrysler, the right guard, who all were mentioned were cool. So that'll be something that we monitor throughout this week. On Tuesday, he'll have his presser. Maybe we'll get some more information on that and discuss that some more. Headed into the rest of this schedule, though, let's talk about that because, again, very happy with how this Colorado team looked taking down Wyoming. This next stretch is going to be insane. Ranked BYU at 25. TCU just got into a shootout with SMU. They look really good. They're undefeated. Then you got Iowa State at Colorado. Then Utah at Utah. Utah's a crazy place. Utah, in my opinion, looked the most beatable out of those teams that I just mentioned thus far. I was not impressed with how they looked against Texas Tech. Texas Tech looks like an absolute beast at the moment. But Utah does not look as intimidating as they may have earlier on. It's going to be a lot of answers. I do genuinely believe that if Colorado can put, like, if you take the great pieces from all of these games and put it together, these are going to be great matchups. They're going to be great games. None of these teams blow me away. TCU, it's going to be interesting to see how they do just because of their high firepower offense. If Colorado can look the way they did against Wyoming, where things are just clicking and just flying around with the creative play calling that Pat Schumer threw in there, where it felt, again, like the Colorado of old with this high power offense, we could see something, because I know what this defense can do. I know that they've shown flashes of being great as well, too. The trenches, we'll like to see an adjustment there. I feel like they were kind of getting bullied and pushed towards the second half against Wyoming. So that'll be something to monitor as we head into this BYU game, which is also at Colorado. So Colorado's got a nice little slate here. They're at home again. Then they go to TCU, where they've won before. If you don't remember the debut for Coach Prime and Shador Sanders, one hell of a football game that went to like 48-45. I mean, it was one of those exciting games that I've watched in quite some time. So they're familiar with there. Then Iowa State comes back to Colorado. So a lot of great stuff for Colorado, an opportunity to really ramp up this Big 12 competition that we see unfolding here and take advantage of the Big 12 of what it is. But all in all, thoroughly impressed with how they looked. Again, defensively, I feel like we can start kind of beating the drum a little bit on that, simply because I've pushed it to the side, because offensively it has just been such a disarray. I had a lot of questions for the offense more so than the defense. But Caden Salter, I feel like they finally unlocked what they've been looking for. We got to turn all eyes on the defense, and hopefully we'll have some questions on Tuesday that provoke that point to that a little bit, that maybe kind of put the iron to the heat, if you will, because a lot of questions were towards the offense and where their identity was this past week, and obviously some changes were made, some adjustments were made, and they looked really good. So pumped about that. Again, we'll see you guys on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, once we break down the recap. I've still got the baby that could be here any day now, so that could put a wrench into a lot of these things, to be quite honest with you. So don't hold me to it on this particular week due to the baby, but we'll do the best we can to pump out the content, if you will. If we're in the hospital, we usually don't shy away from making it either, so we'll see what we can do. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, baby.